right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, 12,000 reasons. We're combing through the Missouri Attorney General's allegations against St. Louis's top prosecutor, Kim Gardner.
Spring showers could turn into a drenching rain later this week. The Weather First team is highlighting the areas where that heavy rain could cause problems.
But first tonight, a St. Charles woman missing for a week is found dead.
It's a really hard thing to go through when you lose someone you care about.
More about the man charged with her murder. Disturbing new details tonight in the death of Jackie Mitchell. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Our Robert Townsend is live outside the St. Louis County Jail where the suspect is being held tonight. Robert.
Mike and Ann, Joseph DeJoy faces several charges, including murder. Now, that's some relief for a woman who knew Jackie Mitchell.
This was me and then Jackie. And
Sarah Mullins is now holding on to heartfelt memories of her old friend, Jackie Mitchell. Mullins knew Mitchell for 13 years.
so the Jackie I knew was very sweet and outgoing. She liked to have fun and she liked to make people happy.
A week ago, Mitchell's family reported the 39-year-old missing after they hadn't heard from her in days. Mitchell's loved ones told police last Tuesday she left work in Sunset Hills and went to a nearby Maggie O'Brien's for dinner.
I was going to go this weekend and help search.
On Sunday, a relative of the missing St. Charles woman found her car abandoned at a Maryland Heights apartment complex. And Monday evening, a break in the case.
We actually got a pretty significant break.
Police say they got surveillance video from a business of suspect Joseph DeJoy driving Mitchell's car after she disappeared. Detectives searched DeJoy's apartment and found Mitchell dead in his bedroom.
It is our belief Jackie had been dead for 6 days.
Police haven't said how Mitchell died. They say she went to the suspect's apartment. They also say the two were acquainted and knew each other socially.
Now I've been thinking about her all day.
Today, Sarah Mullins went to the apartment complex where her friend's body was found.
And I kind of just wanted to drive by and kind of say a little prayer for her.
Mitchell's worried sister spoke with 5 on Your Side on Monday, holding out hope.
It doesn't make any sense. She's such a kind person.
There's comfort in knowing that she's been found, and I'm glad the angels will be looking over her now.
DeJoy is charged with second-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and abandonment of a corpse. Tonight, he sits in jail. He's being held on a $1 million cash-only bond. We're live in Clayton. Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Well, a chilly night for Blues fans headed home from Enterprise Center tonight. More showers could move in overnight.
And some of you might see some storms by morning. Let's get straight over to Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. Scott?
I don't think we're going to see a lot of showers and thunderstorms spread across the area by daybreak, but some of us have that chance, especially north of St. Louis. Right now, it's a few sprinkles around the metro area, and most of the showers are farther to the south. But yes, it is cool with temperatures in the lower 40s, and that camera bouncing in that stiff breeze that's out there right now. Temperatures have cooled back into the 40s. We're going to hold about steady for the rest of the night. Looking to our south, here's your Weather First Doppler radar. We'll take you down to Farmington. 1/4 inch of rain in the rain gauge there today, but you see it's very spotty and overall quite light. 2 a.m. in the morning, here is your futurecast. Taking it up towards 6 a.m. Scattered showers possible, maybe a rumble of thunder trying to develop here along and north of the Missouri River as we head into tomorrow morning. That'll fade as we head towards lunchtime into the afternoon. Then our attention turns to that potential for significant rainfall and maybe excessive rainfall, including the potential for some flooding, especially focused south of St. Louis. We're going to get into more of that coming up in about 14 minutes, Ann.
And remember, you can get the Weather First forecast anytime on your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
New tonight, the federal government is requesting access to a St. Louis County hiking trail to check for and respond to any potential contamination. Our Brent Solomon is live tonight to explain, and it's part of the effort to monitor areas along Coldwater Creek. Brent.
I'll tell you what, we were here within the past couple of hours when the county council meeting wrapped up here at the chambers. Today I got my hands on this letter asking County Executive Sam Page to do whatever he needs to do to let the federal government in to Fort Bellefontaine Park. In this letter dated March 10th, The head of the St. Louis County Parks and Recreation Department asked Executive Sam Page to grant right of entry to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to go into Fort Bellefontaine Park to, quote, perform surveys, remediate radiological and chemical contamination of soils, excavate and dispose of contaminated soil, and backfill with suitable soil and restore the property to its previous condition.
I'm trusting the work, and I want to make sure that they have a space to do it thoroughly and completely.
Council Chair Shalonda Webb represents the district where there are ongoing concerns of contamination along the Coldwater Creek. At a council meeting Tuesday night, leaders heard the government's request. Webb likens it to a formality.
I don't look at the letter as so much as permission, but more for awareness and socialization of it. This is a part of their regular business as they have been contracted to do.
This is the specific area the federal government is asking the county to enter into for a period of up to 2 years. For comparison, it's about 8 miles away from Jana Elementary, where there have been conflicting reports over whether there are high levels of contamination there.
Jana's closed right now.
Yes, it is.
Do you think it should reopen next school year?
So I'm not going to make that decision. That's a school district decision. I am going to follow the lead of the school district, but let them know that we're here to support them 100%.
And the request will go before council here 2 more times before it is officially granted. Tonight, I spoke with a county spokesperson who told me there is no date set just yet on when the federal government is expected to come in. But when it does, he says expect signage to go up in that area, informing the community to steer clear. Live in St. Louis County tonight, Brent Solomon, back to you.
The convicted murderer known as the Package Killer received 2 more life sentences today. Gary Muehlberg pleaded guilty to the murders of Brenda Pruitt and Donna Reitmeyer in the early 1990s. He's already serving life sentences for 2 additional murders and has confessed to more killings. Muehlberg is known as the Package Killer because his victims were found in various containers.
Developing tonight, just hours ago, the Missouri Attorney General filed a lengthy amended petition in the legal battle to remove St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner.
It alleges Gardner has dismissed almost 12,000 cases. Our Laura Barczewski poured through that 121-page petition tonight. And Laura, what did you find?
Mike and Ann, it was less than a month ago when the Attorney General started the removal process, and since then his office has reviewed 30,000 documents to try to support the claim Gardner has neglected her duties.
The lengthy amended quo warranto filing attempting to remove St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner says more than 9,000 cases were dismissed as they were about to go to trial, and judges were forced to dismiss more than 2,700 cases because of the prosecution's failure to provide defendants with discovery and speedy trials.
There's kind of a twofold purpose there. The first purpose is she's not doing her job. She's falling down on her job. Families aren't getting justice. I think that the other implication there is we have a crime problem and Kim Gardner is not prosecuting and locking up criminals. And I think that that is the narrative that's being put forth with those numbers.
However, 5 on Your Side political analyst Anita Mannion says it's important to point out we don't know what percentage of her cases that is or underlying facts of each and every dismissal.
Are those people who maybe had minor infractions, and most people would say, no, they shouldn't be prosecuted or sent to jail? Are those people that she dismissed the case but then refiled, so ultimately they were prosecuted?
The document is full of detailed examples with more than 40 exhibits. One of them says a shooting victim was asked by her office not to show up for the bench trial of the alleged shooter and told the court the victim was not cooperative, dismissing the case. But a statement from the victim says, I was and remain cooperative. Gardner accused Attorney General Bailey of using recent tragedy as a political move to remove her from office, and in an earlier motion denied all of the allegations.
I think that's a very common defense in today's political environment. We've heard it from folks like Donald Trump. We've heard it from other people. And if your allies buy into it, it seems to be pretty good at keeping people afloat.
Bailey said in a statement Tuesday, this is about protecting the people of the city of St. Louis, restoring the rule of law, and finding justice for victims.
Circuit Attorney Gardner now has 10 days to respond to this filing. Her office said tonight the filing is being reviewed. Attorney General Bailey has asked for a June trial date.
An update tonight on the teen who lost her legs in a horrific crash in downtown St. Louis, which led to the legal battle to remove Gardner from office. The family of 17-year-old Janae Edmondson released this new photo of the teen undergoing physical therapy. Her family says they're so proud of her strength. They add she's fighting hard to get past the pain and is getting stronger every single day. Janae was moved to a rehab facility near her home in Nashville, Tennessee last week. She was in town last month for a volleyball tournament when she was hit by a speeding car that hit another car. The driver charged in that case, Daniel Riley, was out on bond at the time. Court records show he violated GPS monitoring dozens of times.
Tonight, two bills impacting transgender youth in Missouri are one step closer to passing in the state Senate. Lawmakers passed two bills early this morning. One would ban puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery for minors. The other would prohibit schools from allowing student athletes to compete in competition designated by sex that doesn't align with their biological sex. Another vote is needed on both bills before moving to the Missouri House.
She sued her spinal surgeon and won.
It was on the wrong side.
Tonight, she's still waiting on her $1 million verdict. The I-Team uncovers why she'll never see that amount. Then, the escape artist bear is saying farewell to St. Louis, the animal's new home equipped with the bare necessities.
More unsettled weather is expected through the end of the week. We've updated the timing on the arrival of the heavy rain from this system moving onshore in California. That's in 7 minutes.
New tonight, a Franklin County woman contacted our I-Team saying a surgeon operated on the wrong part of her spine. Not once, but twice.
She took the doctor to court. A jury ruled in her favor. The I-Team's Paul Vassan has more on why she still hasn't gotten $1 and why it's so hard for victims of medical malpractice to get justice.
I had a lot of back pain. They referred me to see a specialist, and he suggested that I have the disc herniation surgery.
Very standard procedure, right?
Yes.
When Natalie Aviles woke up at Mercy Hospital South, she realized her surgeon made a mistake.
It was on the wrong side.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fengshan Chen.
Her doctor, Fengshan Chen, explained the problem. Then the next day, Aviles agreed he could try again.
And removed parts of my bone that did not have to be removed. It was 10 times worse.
She filed this lawsuit. After 2 years of court battles, a jury sided with Aviles last month, but she still hasn't seen a dime.
It can take a very long time. It depends on...
Attorney Morgan Murphy says the hospital system never accepted blame. The hospital plans to appeal a $1 million verdict, which was lowered to about $450,000 to comply with state law. Aviles will likely get far less than that after attorney and court fees.
It is very difficult to hold hospitals and doctors accountable.
What Aviles went through is called wrong site surgery. It means the surgery wasn't done in the right place. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association shows it's rare, a small fraction of a percent of all surgeries.
We wanted to know how often these types of surgeries are happening in Missouri. We looked at insurance data based on people who filed and closed claims between 2016 and 2021. There were 142 surgeries done on the wrong body part. 9 surgeries involved the wrong patient. Aviles wouldn't be counted in the data because her claim is still open.
It's one reason why Murphy believes the numbers don't show what's actually going on.
That information to be available for the public to find out would have to be voluntarily reported.
And when it comes to medical malpractice, there are repeat offenders. The Missouri Association of Trial Attorneys says a very small percentage of doctors are responsible for the majority of malpractice payouts. Often there's no action taken against them, so they stay in business.
Dr. Chen is still working as a surgeon. To the best of my knowledge, he is.
How are people supposed to know his history?
There's really almost no way to know about it.
It's because over the last 3 decades, there have been more and more laws to protect doctors. They place limits on compensation for people who've been injured. The medical industry often argues these reforms are needed to lower insurance rates. But patients and plaintiffs' attorneys say better protection for doctors leads to lack of justice for people like Aviles.
Sit right here.
Since her operation, this mother of 5 has gotten a therapy dog to ease her anxiety.
Good girl.
She no longer has a job. She no longer takes her kids to all their soccer and baseball games. Just moving around the house, she says, is too excruciating.
It just radiates through my whole back.
She says she'll keep fighting through the pain.
Don't stay quiet. It's always good to speak up because it can help somebody else.
A Mercy spokesperson tells us they immediately disclosed their mistakes, and they say the second operation on Avila's started off at the wrong level due to an unknown issue with her ribs, a risk they had told her about earlier. They also say they're pleased Avila's has had pain relief since then. She says the pain has only gotten worse. Want to get in touch with me about this story or another investigative tip? Email me at paula@ksdk.com. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
And you can find Mercy's full statement on ksdk.com.
After escaping its enclosure twice, the St. Louis Zoo is shipping Ben the bear off to a new home. The Andean bear broke through steel mesh of its enclosure twice last month, and he hasn't been on public display since. Now he's being moved to the Gladys Porter Zoo in Brownsville, Texas. Zookeepers say the habitat there has a moat that prevents escapes.
Tricky little guy.
Yeah.
Sad to see him go. He's so smart.
Yeah, but that's what they're going to do. Put a moat around him. He's not going to swim out. But, you know,
And
Ben
he likes
is crafty.
the water.
Yeah, Ben is crafty. So, you know, we'll see.
We'll have to check out the news reports from Brownsville.
I was going to say, we'll check in with our sister station, Go Live, find out what's going on with Ben. Hey, weather-wise, right now, we don't have rain in St. Louis, but we do have a lot of clouds, and they stretch across the entire area. And there's still a couple of little spritzes here and there. But again, the rain has stayed mostly to the south of St. Louis this evening. We only had 0.04 of an inch in St. Louis all day long. Now, it was a little higher across our southern counties from Farmington back towards Rolla, upwards of 1/4 of an inch. And there's still a little bit down to the south, but not much at all. Currently, we're looking at the clouds, and we are at 43 degrees right now. The dew point's 37. Basically, we're going to be stuck where we are for the overnight hours. In fact, 43 is our new low for today. So about steady temperatures, upper 30s, lower 40s. A scattered shower certainly possible overnight. By tomorrow morning, the chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms trying to develop out to the west and to the north of St. Louis. Certainly cloudy. The winds are going to pick back up tomorrow afternoon, become gusty again, and the better chances for rain by lunchtime will have shifted north and east of St. Louis. So if you're trying to get a baseball game in tomorrow afternoon, probably you're okay in St. Louis. Then we have another system, and it's going to be a big one. Heavy rain is expected here for Thursday night into Friday, locally 2 inches or more. That's going to push the small creeks and streams high, and they'll run fast. The severe weather threat, very limited with that, but there is a potential flood threat, which will be exacerbated by that hilly terrain south of St. Louis. This is where we expect the heaviest rain to fall, generally along and south of 44 in Missouri and along and south of 70 in Illinois. Some spots will see more than 2 inches, and we'll fine-tune that because it's this system and the energy that's pushing on shore right now in California. San Francisco today, San Francisco Bay, a 77-mile-per-hour wind gust. That's the energy that's going to spill into the plains and head towards us, producing the heavy rainfall for later Thursday into Thursday night and Friday. So this front sags into St. Louis as we go into later Thursday. That's the focus for a widespread band of heavier rain stretching from Oklahoma into the St. Louis area over into Indiana. By Friday morning, that's shifting south. So Friday afternoon, the heaviest rain south of St. Louis. Temperatures will then cool down. The severe weather threat, that's going to be in the warmer air down here over Arkansas, western portions of Tennessee. So it looks like for the St. Louis area, we'll be talking about just rain, but a lot of it. 1.5 to 2 inches metro. You go south and southeast of St. Louis, we may be pushing some spots with 3 to 4 inches. Most of that heavier rain is going to be from later Thursday afternoon, probably around or a little after rush hour into Thursday night, early Friday, and then by Friday night, the rain starts to pull away. Not going to guarantee a lot of sunshine on Saturday, but we do know it will be milder and better than last weekend, and maybe a shower on Sunday, but still milder, better than last
and
weekend.
also the bird on the bat in the 10-day forecast.
Yes.
Haven't seen that in a long
next
time.
Thursday.
Yeah.
And it looks like, knock on, where's some wood? It looks like there's a low chance for a shower later in the day. It's early.
Right. We got time.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't look terrible.
All right, Scott, and speaking of all that, here's Frank with sports.
Mike, we have the World Baseball Classic Championship game. Jack Flaherty got the ball in Jupiter, the return of David Perron, and UMSL trying to get to the Final Four. Stay with us.
The Sports Desk is brought to you by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer, 10 years running.
I want you to listen closely to this statement. Tonight's World Baseball Classic Championship game may be the most watched baseball game of all time. 62 million watched Japan play Italy. 54 million watched the 1980 World Series. But Japan versus Team USA tonight could be the biggest ever. Ken Griffey Jr. is the hitting coach for Team USA, and I think he's done a pretty good job with Trey Turner, who's actually always good. This is his 4th homer of the WBC. Team USA up 1-0 in the second. And in the bottom of the second inning, Lars Nootbaar with the ground ball. He will be out, but he gets the lead run in, and it's 2-1 Japan. 8th inning, Yu Darvish on the mound, and Kyle Schwarber parks it in the upper deck, and we have a 3-2 game. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The best 2 players in the world, Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, who happen to be teammates. And Ohtani gets him with the slider. Japan wins the World Baseball Classic, the final tonight, 3-2. The Cardinals and Nationals today, and the Nationals got 9 hits off Jack Flaherty in 4 2/3 innings. They only scored 2 runs. He did strike out 4 and walk just 1. His ERA for the spring, 4.50. Matthew Liberatore, Dakota Hudson have been optioned to Memphis. I asked Mike Claiborne if he thinks Flaherty can be elite again.
Yes, I do. I think he's got all the physical tools to do it. He's healthy. He may be the best conditioned athlete on the team. I just think now it's just a matter of him just going out and not thinking about it and just going to pitch. And if he does that, I think he'll be fine.
David Perron returned to Enterprise tonight as a member of the Detroit Red Wings. And although the Blues are in the middle of a solid rebuild, you have to wonder what would have happened if they would have just re-signed Perron. Would they be a playoff team? Who knows?
St. Louis, number 57, David Perron.
The former Blue got quite an ovation at Enterprise. His former teammate Robert Pertuzzo looked like Perron with this nifty stick handling for the goal just 2.5 minutes in. Red Wings will tie it on the power play. Perron the assist to Alex Chiasson right there. Good night for defenseman Marco Scandella, the Italian stallion, with his first goal of the season. It's 2-1 Blues. The game went to a shootout. Joel Hofer, who stopped the first 3 shots, could not stop this one by Lucas Raymond, and Detroit wins it 3-2. So the UMSL Tritons entered the day like Elton John. They were still standing, the only college basketball team in the area left. The Tritons were in Evansville tonight in the Elite 8 of the NCAA Division II tourney. The opponent, Nova Southeastern, 33-0 and number 1 in the country. There's an old saying in basketball, there's no such thing as a free press. You've got to make them pay an attack. Drew Cisse for the Tritons with the dunk. They led it 48-45. Later, Trevor Moore will knock it down to tie the game at 63. But Drew Yoakum was too much. He had 34 points. Nova Southeastern ends a great UMSL run with an 82-75 victory. He had arguably the greatest entrance in basketball history. 1970, Game 7, NBA Finals, Knicks and Lakers in Madison Square Garden. And Willis Reed limped onto the floor with a torn muscle in his leg. He scored the first 4 points of the game, and the Knicks won the World Championship. Today, the captain passed away at age 80. This Hall of Famer will be missed. And that will do it in sports.
Frank, thanks.
Want more than just hot dogs or nachos at the ballpark? The 2 new additions spicing things up at Busch Stadium this year. A live look at Busch Stadium. We're now 9 days away from Cardinals opening day.
Yeah, tomorrow is media day at the ballpark, but tonight we're already learning of 2 new food choices. Mission Taco will open a stand in section 150, that's behind home plate. The menu will include some fan favorites and some exclusive ballpark items.
And legendary basketball Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal is bringing his Big Chicken restaurant to Busch. There will be 2 locations near Section 135 and 358. The highlight, the 314 sandwich. It features a piece of Nashville hot chicken with Shaq sauce served on a cardinal red maple bacon donut. A donut from St. Louis's own Vincent Van Donut. Whew, heart attack.
You know, after last weekend with the weather we had, it didn't feel like baseball weather.
No.
But now it's starting to get a little warmer. I know it's going to rain a little bit, but it just feels more like it's coming.
It's always the light at the end of the tunnel that it's just on the horizon.
Right. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Jennifer Aniston is Jimmy's guest tonight. Have a great tomorrow.